Our pilgrims will remember visiting the well at Jacob, the well of Jacob at Sychar. Sychar is in the West Bank, it's in Samaria, Palestinian territory. And historically, a church can be moved, a synagogue can be moved, but a well, you cannot move a well. And therefore, this is historically sound as the original place of Jacob's well. The well is about 40 feet deep, and when we go there with pilgrims, the women come around the well and we put down the bucket 40 feet and draw the bucket up, and we drink the water from the same well mentioned here in the Gospel of John. Now, we read a shorter version of the story. It's a long story, and what we left out in the shorter version of it is that this woman was searching. Jesus says, "Go find your husband." She said, "I don't have a husband. I've had 5 husbands, and the one I have now is not really my husband, the man I'm living with." So she was an extraordinary person. So let me look at what we learned from reflecting on this gospel from the book of John. I had a reason recently to go back and reread some of James Mackey, an extraordinary Irish theologian who died just a few years ago. And James Mackey, speaking about the abundance of God's love and the gift of God's presence and God's forgiveness, tells this story. It's set in Africa. It's the story of a hunter on a safari in Africa, and one morning he went out by himself, searching for wild turkeys. And as luck would have it, he bagged 2 turkeys, and he clipped them to his belt. And as he was finding his way back through the bush, he got the sense that somebody was following him. So he stopped, and he turned around, holding his gun at the ready. And out of the bush came this little boy, half naked, with his hands outstretched. Clearly, he was hungry. The hunter understood that, so he dropped the turkeys from his belt and he retreated back some steps, gestured to the boy to come and take the turkeys, but the boy would not move. He moved back further again and called the boy to come and take the turkeys, but the boy wouldn't move. So finally he went and picked up the birds, and he took them and he placed them in the hands of the boy. The boy took them and he went back into the bush. The teaching is that there are certain things you cannot take, you can only receive. So let me look at this by way of a teaching from the Gospel of John. Any spiritual journey which is serious begins in emptiness. If you read the spiritual lives of the saints, you'll find this kenosis. Kenosis is a Greek word, means emptying. You'll find that St. Paul, in his second letter to Corinth, speaks about he was given a thorn in the flesh, something that diminished him, emptied him. You'll find it in St. Augustine. He goes through his confessions. St. Patrick in his confessions remembers some great sin that burdened him from his past. You'll find it in Augustine. You'll find it in Ignatius. Ignatius lived a wild life. He went through a crisis where he was badly wounded in the Battle of Pamplona, and then he went through his conversion. You'll find it in the life of Mother Teresa. She joined the Loreto Sisters in Dublin in Ireland. She was missioned to teach in an upper-class school in Calcutta, which she did for 37 years. And then she went through some kind of a crisis in her life, and she left the teaching and she went to form the Sisters of Charity, working with the poor. So any serious spiritual journey begins with a crisis of some kind, a darkness, a rejection, a failure, some emptiness in my life, some place where life has become boring and life has become meaningless perhaps. And now in this emptiness, I'm called to take a second look at my life, and that's called kenosis. Now, there isn't one person among us, I suspect, who doesn't need more love than you deserve, more forgiveness, more understanding, more patience, more acceptance, more welcome than we deserve. We have this yearning to be bonded, to belong, to be called. And in that experience, we come to learn that the most precious gifts in life cannot be taken. They have to be given. The most precious gifts in life cannot be purchased. If you merit forgiveness, it's a trade. It's not coming from the heart. If you merit the blessing, then you have purchased the blessing. It's a trade. But when somebody blesses you where you don't deserve it, forgives you when you haven't earned it, enriches your life when you haven't merited, that's gift. And that's a gift which you cannot take, you just have to receive. Sometimes I hear people speaking about a marriage which is 50-50. Never quite works that way. Tell me how 50-50 is a marriage of love, or it's just a contract. 50-50 is a contract. It's not a gesture of love, it's not generous, it's not giving, it's not understanding. It's measured by a contract. So let me look at the gospel. This woman comes to meet Jesus at the well. Jesus is tired. He sits down by the well. It's noon. And she comes by herself. She's alone. She's lost. She's searching. She's much married and hasn't found meaning in her life. Living with a man to whom she isn't bonded. Her life is empty. Her life is chaotic. And she meets Jesus, and Jesus respects her. He honors her. He treats her with dignity. He does not make any judgment. No rejection, no condemnation. Jesus accepts her and binds her to his word, a word of life, a word of meaning, a word of holiness. That's the teaching of this gospel. Now, David Brooks says, when you hit this crisis to begin a serious spiritual life, it either breaks you down or breaks you open. And in the spiritual life, if you understand your darkness and your struggle, and you come into the presence of an infinite love in Jesus Christ, it will not break you down, it will break you open. You will become more compassionate, you will become more understanding, because you yourself, in a time of emptiness, in a time of poverty, in a time when you confront the fragile humanity which is yours, when that happens, and you find that the infinite love of God touches you without merit, without earning it, without deserving it, you are reformed. You have a new understanding of God, a new understanding of God's infinite love, and now you begin your serious spiritual journey. Until this happens, we're living at a surface level. But somewhere in the journey of life, it will happen to every one of us. Life will become boring, repetitive. It will become empty. You're wondering where you're going. And then you begin to say, maybe there's a deeper, deeper meaning in life, which only is discovered when you accept and you don't take. Keep in mind that wherever you feel a gift in your life, it's given to you, it's not taken, it's just received. And that's the woman at the well. Sometime in your life, and certainly I know in my life, I've hit stretches of darkness and emptiness, questioned things, I doubted. I wondered if this was for real, if this is the way to live. And in this darkness, I was touched by the power of Jesus Christ. I was thirsting, and He fed me. I was thirsting, and He gave me to drink. And that's the meaning of the gospel. So wherever you are in your life, look deeper into your life. Not the superficial, not this. Something deeper in your life. Whatever struggle you have, your burden you're carrying, it's a moment of grace. It's a call to renew your understanding of yourself and your experience of the infinite love of Jesus Christ. Take this with you wherever you go in your journey of life. Don't live at a superficial level. It's empty. It's meaningless. It will not sustain you. It won't feed your soul. We all yearn for something deeper. So don't take. Just receive what's given to you. Don't begin to wonder if you're worthy. You know, sometimes people come to me and say, but I'm not worthy of all the blessings God has given me. And I would say, I will tell you, you're not worthy. None of us is worthy. We are blessed beyond merit. We are blessed in the infinite abundance of God's love for us. We are embraced by God's love in our brokenness, our emptiness, and the poverty of our humanity. That's the whole teaching. That's the essential teaching of all the gospel teachings. The infinite love of God embraces us. That's my life. Amen.